If you have ever eaten something that felt completely harmless, a bowl of oatmeal, a banana, a slice of whole wheat bread caul, and then felt tired, foggy, or hungry again within 2 hours, your pancreas was trying to tell you something. And almost no one is listening to it. What I am about to show you is not theory. It is the reason your pancreas may be quietly aging faster than the rest of your body right now, without a single symptom you would notice. Today, I am going to walk you through 5 specific foods. Foods that exist in almost every grocery store in this country. They do something most people have never heard of. They slow down the speed at which sugar enters your bloodstream. They reduce the amount of insulin your pancreas has to release. And over time, they can actually help restore your pancreas's ability to respond properly to the food you eat. This is not about cutting carbs to zero. This is not another fad diet. This is about giving your pancreas the support it has been begging for years and probably never received. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which foods to start adding this week. You will know why each one works at a mechanical level inside your body. You will know how much you actually need to eat to see a difference. You will know the single biggest mistake people make when they try to use these foods. And you will get one bonus combination, the one most people never even consider, that may be the most powerful tool on this entire list. I work as an endocrinologist and metabolic medicine specialist. For the last 21 years, my practice has focused on patients with insulin resistance, prediabetes, and type 2 diabetes. One pattern shows up again and again. 88% of adults over 60 have some form of insulin resistance. Most of them will never know it because their doctors are running the wrong test. They are checking blood sugar, but blood sugar is the last thing to go wrong. Insulin is the first. Let me tell you about Robert, 67 years old, a retired mechanic living outside Phoenix. His blood glucose was completely normal on every annual physical. His doctor cleared him year after year. What his doctor never checked was his fasting insulin. When we finally ran it, it came back at 22. The normal range is under 8. Robert was not diabetic. He was not even pre-diabetic by the standard test his doctor had been running for a decade. But his pancreas was working nearly 3 times as hard as it should have every single day just to keep his blood sugar looking normal on paper. That is the story for tens of millions of people walking around with a normal-looking lab report and a pancreas that is quietly running out of road. Here is the mechanism. In plain English. Every time you eat something that raises your blood sugar quickly, your pancreas releases insulin to bring it back down. If this happens gently, a few times a day, your pancreas handles it without strain. But if it happens sharply, dozens of times a week, meal after meal, year after year, your cells start to stop responding to insulin the way they used to. Your pancreas compensates by producing even more. This is insulin resistance. It is the root cause behind weight gain that will not budge no matter how little you eat. Afternoon energy crashes around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Sugar cravings that feel almost impossible to control. And eventually, type 2 diabetes itself. The foods on this list work because they interrupt that spike before it happens, or they help your body process glucose without demanding an enormous insulin response. Robert started adding 3 of these foods to his daily routine without changing anything else about his diet. Within 10 weeks, his fasting insulin dropped from 22 to 11. He did not change his medications. He did not start an extreme diet. He added foods. That is the entire intervention. Let's get into the 5. Number 1, apple cider vinegar. Taken before a meal, roughly 1 tablespoon diluted in a large glass of water, apple cider vinegar has been shown in multiple studies to blunt the blood sugar spike that follows a carbohydrate-heavy meal by as much as 20 to 30%. The acetic acid in vinegar slows the rate at which your stomach empties into your small intestine.
Glucose enters your bloodstream more gradually instead of all at once.
A gradual rise means a smaller, gentler insulin response, less wear on your pancreas at every single meal. The timing matters more than the amount. Taken with the meal or about 10 to 15 minutes before it, not hours later. And not on an empty stomach with nothing else, since straight vinegar on its own can irritate the stomach lining for some people. Number 2, cinnamon. Specifically Ceylon cinnamon, not the cassia cinnamon most grocery stores stock by default. Ceylon cinnamon contains compounds that appear to mimic insulin's effect on cells. It helps glucose move out of the bloodstream and into your muscles, where it can actually be used for energy instead of stored as fat. In practical terms, about half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon a day, stirred into coffee, oatmeal, or yogurt, has been associated in research with meaningful reductions in fasting blood sugar over a period of weeks. The reason I specify Ceylon over cassia is that cassia contains a compound called coumarin, which in large amounts can stress the liver.
Ceylon has only trace amounts. Check the label.
Now here is something most people get completely backwards, and it changes everything about how you should be eating right now. Number 3, legumes, lentils, chickpeas, and black beans in particular. This is the food on this list that surprises people the most because legumes contain carbohydrates, and most patients walk into my office assuming carbohydrates are the enemy. But legumes are different. They are loaded with a type of fiber that forms a kind of gel in your digestive tract, physically slowing down how quickly the carbohydrates around them are absorbed. There is also research on something called a half cup of cooked lentils or chickpeas added to a salad or alongside a main dish 4 or 5 times a week is enough to start seeing this effect. The mistake people make is eating legumes only occasionally, as a side note, instead of as a regular structural part of their meals. Number 4, fatty fish. Salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These do not directly blunt a glucose spike the way vinegar or fiber does. What they do is reduce the underlying inflammation that drives insulin resistance in the first place. The omega-3 fatty acids in fatty fish, specifically EPA and DHA, have been shown to improve how responsive your cell membranes are to insulin signaling. Think of it this way. Insulin is a key, and your cells have locks. Chronic inflammation, incredibly common in people eating a typical Western diet, essentially gums up those locks. Omega-3s help clean them out. 2 servings a week, about 3 to 4 ounces each, is the target most research points to. Canned sardines count, and for the price, they are one of the best metabolic investments you can make at the grocery store. Number 5, Greek yogurt, plain and unsweetened. This one works through 2 mechanisms at once. First, the protein content, typically 15 to 20 grams in a single serving, slows gastric emptying in the same way vinegar does, just through a different pathway. Second, the live bacterial cultures in yogurt appear to influence the gut microbiome in ways still being actively researched. But early data suggests a connection between a healthier gut microbiome and better insulin sensitivity. Flavored yogurts, even the ones marketed as healthy, often contain 15 to 20 grams of added sugar per serving. That would completely cancel out the benefit and add a spike of its own.
Add your own fruit, your own cinnamon from item 2, or a small handful of nuts, and you control exactly what goes in.
Now here is the single biggest mistake I see patients make with this entire list. They use these foods in isolation, like a kind of supplement, disconnected from their actual meals. Someone will drink apple cider vinegar in the morning on an empty stomach, then eat a bagel for breakfast 2 hours later, and wonder why nothing changed. These 5 foods are not medications. They do not work as standalone interventions taken at random times. They work because of when and how they are eaten relative to the foods that would otherwise cause a spike. The food has to be in relationship with the rest of your eating pattern, or the effect mostly disappears. And now the bonus. The combination almost nobody puts together, and the one I personally recommend most often in my practice. Apple cider vinegar before the meal, a base of legumes within that same meal, a small portion of fatty fish as the protein. This combination hits all 3 mechanisms at the same time. The vinegar slows stomach emptying. The legume fiber slows carbohydrate absorption further and sets up the second meal effect for whatever you eat next. The omega-3s work in the background on the inflammation driving the resistance in the first place. Robert's actual dinner most nights now is a lentil and salmon salad with a small glass of water and vinegar before he sits down. It took him about 3 weeks to stop missing his old dinners. After 10 weeks, his fasting insulin had been cut in half. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. Your pancreas is not broken. In the vast majority of people I see, it is simply exhausted, and exhaustion is reversible in a way that damage often is not. The 5 foods on this list, apple cider vinegar, Ceylon cinnamon, legumes, fatty fish, and plain Greek yogurt, can significantly improve your health. Are not exotic, they are not expensive, and they do not require you to throw out everything in your kitchen. They require you to start adding 1 meal at a time.
If this video helped you, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel.
Because every subscriber helps this information reach 1 more person whose pancreas has been quietly carrying this load without anyone telling them. And if this is the first time you have heard the term fasting insulin, go watch the video where I break down the 1 blood test almost no doctor ordered. I would practice best. I will leave it linked for you. And if you have a parent, a spouse, or a friend who has been told their blood sugar is, they may be exactly like Robert. A lab report that looks fine, and a pancreas that is asking for help. I want to know how many of you have been flying blind. I will see you in the next video.